I am back today taking another look at one of my favorite series of 9mm pistol caliber carbines, or in this case, a pistol caliber pistol. What we are looking at today is the Grand Power Stribog SP9A3 with the FDE Cerakote finish, and this model actually has the new A3 Industries modular telescoping brace with the tailhook brace assembly attached at the end. It mounts up via a pick rail, incredibly compact, and we'll talk a little bit more about this brace system in the brace part of this review. But I've been really falling in love with the Stribog series of 9mm, especially with their roller delayed actions and all the specs and features, especially at the lower MSRPs compared to other roller delayed systems on the market. Now, this is all thanks to Gun Zone Deals, because Gun Zone Deals has always been a big supporter of the channel here recently in the past year, and we actually tried one of the original mini bogs that Stribog released, all thanks to Gun Zone Deals as well, and that thing is running like a champ, and this one was really reliable as well. Again, we'll dig into that in the reliability section of this review, but if you want to check out the mini bog review, you can take a look at that. But this one is really cool, especially with the new brace system offered from A3 Industries. Let's dig into the specs and features and its reliability down at the range. And I also want to give a huge shout out to AAC, because AAC is also a massive supporter of the channel, and we ran a lot of different types through this particular setup to really prove its reliability. We ran 115, 147, 124, as well as 115 grain XTP to see if it could handle HPs, and spoiler alert, it does. But again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in the reliability section. Let's start from the front and work our way to the back and talk about those specs and features and why I like it so much. The first thing I want to mention is this actually comes with an 8-inch barrel, which I think is really good for a 9mm pistol caliber carbine. I love the mini bogs. I love a lot of the 4-inch and the 5-inch pistols out there, but that 8-inch is going to throw a little bit more velocity to that 9mm rounds, bringing that ballistic efficiency up to closer to a 357 Magnum, but not quite. I think you need to get to about a 16-inch barrel before you get that power, but that 8-inch is going to sling it a lot quicker than the 4-inch. And at the end of it, you're going to have threads half by 28, and that is really set up to run suppressed from the factory. Now, I ran this with a direct thread suppressor on the end of it, and it functioned amazing. It locked up rock solid, was really good, and there is almost no recoil difference between running it suppressed and unsuppressed because of that roller delayed system that they utilize in the bolt system. And if you're unfamiliar, a lot of 9mm are direct blowback, meaning when the round goes off, the explosion immediately shoves the mass damper system, which is the bolt and spring system in most PCCs, immediately back, and you feel that recoil almost instantaneously as a sharp snap in your arm, braced, or wherever you have it shouldered if it's stock. And for this one, you actually have a roller delayed system that allows the gases to slightly depressurize before the roller unlocks and starts to slide back, which is a really nice touch. And roller delayed blowback definitely shoots smoother, and it's easier for follow-up shots, and this one did well. Now, when you add a can, you obviously add a lot of back pressure to the system, and because the Stribog is roller delayed, again, you are getting a lighter recoil impulse, so it runs amazing suppressed. Now, I've got a tri-lug adapter on the end of this now, and I've got the tri-lug dead air can. That runs good. Tried a couple of other cans. There wasn't a single suppressor that this didn't like. Now, moving past the barrel, there is no gas system again because this is a roller delayed blowback, but what we have surrounding that barrel system is their monolithic upper with their M-LOK rail system. You've got pick at the bottom, pick at the top, M-LOK on the sides. Perfect. Absolutely perfect in my humble opinion, because you can throw whatever types of grips you want, and a lot of the ones I personally use are pick mounted, or you can use AFGs or hand stomps depending on what you do, whether you SBR this or leave it as a pistol. For me, I'm leaving it as a pistol because of local concealed carry laws. It's much easier to transport this concealed as a pistol than it is as an SBR, so it's going to remain a pistol. At the top, you have a monolithic pick rail covering the entire length of the top, and this allows you to put your optics, lights, and lasers, pressure pads, IR setups, whatever you can think of, all over it. And it's really nice because if you are running clip-ons or you're running an IR laser, you don't have to worry about the handguard walking loose independently of the upper receiver because it's one solid piece, which is a nice touch. You have integrated flip-up sights, which are really convenient and easy to use, and you also have a non-reciprocating charging handle, which is incredibly nice, so you can kind of wrap your thumb around that and get a nice grip. Now moving on to the bolt assembly itself, it is going to be that proprietary Stribog BCG, and it works good. I've got 2 of them now running in the mini bog in this particular version, and they just chug along. So let's talk a little bit about reliability, and we'll get to the lower brace in a second. Now, this was 100% functional, and so was the mini bog. Again, we ran a lot of different 115 grain, no issues whatsoever. The NATO spec 124 grain ammo, again, which is normally pretty stout, was definitely tamed by the roller delayed system. We also ran 147 grain suppressed and unsuppressed, traveling right at 1,000 feet per second. And in this particular review, thanks to AAC, we got a few hundred rounds of the XTP downrange to really prove this out if it could run HPs for personal defense, and it can. It functioned great with no feed issues whatsoever, and granted, we only ran HPs from AAC, and it may run other companies just fine. I imagine the Hornady would be good with the slight taper and the polymer tip, so it's going to do that really nicely for a lot of those personal defense situations, and it's really nice to see. Now, inside the box in this particular setup, Gun Zone Deals, again, is going to offer a lot. And it will come with 3 mags, the pistol, the brace setup, and the tail hook. And the tail hook is actually independent from the A3 brace system. But let's talk about the lower, and we'll finish up with that brace system. The lower is going to be one solid piece of polymer. You have an extended trigger guard, a really nice trigger on these. They work out incredibly well. Let's make sure it's clear one more time. You've got the standard AR style safety, the AR style mag release, but this one is pretty nice because it's also ambi. So if you are throwing a mag in or you're ripping one out, you can do that and throw one in. You also have the bolt lock right here. So when you insert the mag, it's very ergonomic to reach up and drop that bolt on that next round. So very convenient, or you can just run that charging handle to drop it. But again, I digress. Let's take a look at the trigger. Flat face trigger, just a touch of take up. Not much at all. Defined wall, crisp break. I would say this is a little bit better than your standard AR triggers. It doesn't feel like a match drop-in trigger, but it's really good and it's really reliable. The reset is audible and tactile. You know where you're at on the wall. You're not going to accidentally pull it. It's a large enough trigger guard with gloved fingers, so it really is kind of like the best of both worlds between a nicer match style trigger, but a nice mil-spec trigger where you know you get reliability, a good feel, and you can even feel that reset through gloves. So love that aspect about this. And let's transition to that brace system, because that is where this really shines. Now, the brace system on this guy is going to be incredibly modular and adjustable. You've got the pick rail on the back of this, and the cool thing about this A3 brace system is you can adjust it up and down. Now, this is going to be cool because it's the MTB 2.0 STD, and it's a minimalist telescoping brace system that mounts to any 1913 pick rail. But unlike a ton of folders, it maintains a very compact and sleek profile, so you can squirrel this away in a backpack. You can put it underneath the seat of your car. You can store this wherever, following all legal laws. And at a collapsed length, it only adds an extra 2 inches to the overall length, which is really nice when it comes to truly like a backpack gun, a micro storage gun, something like that. And it's really convenient. You also have the push button release, and it's just very intuitive on this brace system. So when you go to grab the tail hook from either on the outside like this or the inside, you reach up with that thumb and it just deploys and you pull it all the way to the end. Underneath the A3, it's got solid lockups at a 90 degree, but it's got tapers, so when you pull it out, you can pull it out as far as you want, and it'll slide through all of those to a fully collapsed or fully deployed position. Now you can rock it into place, and it's going to lock into place in that next position. You've got another one right there. You've got 4 total through here. So that's really convenient to have 4 positions for that brace system. Now, you can also adjust it up and down like we talked about earlier to clear the ejection port on whatever firearm you may have this brace on. Now, for me, it goes just a touch at the bottom of the ejection port. The Stribogs eject up slightly, so it clears the ejection port, lines me up for a perfect sight picture, but you have about a 1 inch adjustment up and down on here to get your sight picture set up for whatever firearm you have the brace system mounted to. Or you can attach this a little bit higher, a little bit lower to clear an ejection port. So that is really convenient right there. It's also engineered from 60-60-61 aluminum, and it's got a ton of relief cuts in that brace system. system to kind of lighten up the weight, yet still be incredibly rigid. Now, the gear head works tailhook arm brace. These are amazing. And combined with this A3 brace system, it's like the perfect brace system to mount to a back of a pick rail for the compact nature and usability. In its fully collapsed state, the brace system folds out and your arm rests perfectly. I'm talking it gives you that extra stability to shoot this one-handed as intended, or you can pull it out to that first position and use it on your forearm, which again is very comfortable. You can rock it around. It's very smooth, no high spots on your arm. And then you can fully deploy it and almost get it up right at your elbow, and it's hard to see on camera for more stability. So that's really convenient. It's also very nice to deploy that tailhook brace with this push button. It locks up rock solid, and no matter how you decide you want to personally, oh, we got a visitor. Not anymore. No matter how you want to use your brace system personally, the Tailhook and the A3 is one of the absolute best that I've ever utilized for a pick mount that collapses this compact. It's just really convenient. Now, it's got 8.75-inch rods, and it's got an 8.5-inch overall length when you deploy it with the mounted brace system, if you wanted to kind of do the math on your particular brace setup. But really love that aspect of this particular setup. In summary, this is an awesome platform if you are looking for a pistol caliber carbine, or in this case, again, a pistol caliber pistol that gives you a ton of value for money and features that you would normally find on a lot more higher end, and I'm using air quotes, because the build quality is spectacular. The reliability is spectacular. The specs and features, especially with this new brace system, are awesome. And again, this is all thanks to Gun Zone Deals, so a huge shout out to these guys. If you like it, let me know in the comment section below. If you'd rather run something else, I'd like to hear your thoughts as well. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.